every story has a happy ever after. And after this story, there's an after party.
Whiskey stuff.
Wine for me.
But I ordered, I don't know if you saw, Quantum Spirits in our hometown of Carnegie.
Yes.
Is doing patio punch and their Neil Armstrong, which I love.
Oh, that one is so good.
So for $25, you get a 750 ml bottle of the Neil Armstrong, which is iced tea, lemonade, mint, and vodka. And it makes 5 generous cocktails. So I ordered one of them, and we have to go pick it up tomorrow.
That's amazing.
No contact pickup, but it'll be great. I'll have something for D&D tomorrow night.
That is amazing.
But before we get into this episode, I have something kind of related that I wanted to say.
Yeah, go for it.
I don't know if you knew this, but I was a horse kid.
I absolutely knew that you were a horse kid.
I did horseback riding for like 10 years or something. I did lessons. I did Western to start with, and then I moved on to English with the jumps, and then I did dressage, which was the most challenging, a whole lot of fun. If there are any horse people out there in radio land, dressage is great. But they say something in this episode when Snow gets on that runaway horse. And Lana Parrilla is like, she's like, Snow White's like, I'm never going to ride a horse again. And Lana Parrilla is like, you have to get back on the horse. Listen, my ass has hurt so bad from the number of times I've fallen off a horse. And those fucking people who were teaching me lessons, she like got on the horse like the next day. They'd be like, oh no, I don't care if you broke your spine. You have to get back on the horse now and show horse who's boss. And I'm like, listen, I'm tired and hurt, and the horse is probably tired. Can't I just sit here with my broken ass for a hot fucking second? And the one place I went to before I went to another stable that I learned dressage at, they only let me not be on the horse immediately after once. And that's when I landed on the fence.
Oh.
Did I tell you about that one?
It was a while ago.
Yeah. Every I fell off a horse story starts the same, except for one of them. The horse spooked at like a shadow or anything. Horses can be really jumpy. And it was right against the fence line of the ring, and it spooked, and the horse went one way, and I stayed where I was because that's how motion works.
Yep.
And I landed on a picket fence, and it tore my shirt from the bottom all the way up to my armpit. And I think that was the one. I hit my head too.
Yikes.
Obviously, like I always wear a helmet because you have to. But I remember getting in the car with my mom afterwards, and I was like, Mom, I'm tired. I just want to go to sleep. And she was freaking out because she was like, what's your name? What's the street you live? Who am I? What's your birthday?
Typical mom.
To see if I was being concussed.
That sounds like straight up Paula to me.
Concussed. And I'm like, Mom, I'm really tired and I really hurt. The adrenaline is leaving my system. And she got really worried because she gave me an Epsom salt bath. I might have been like 14 when this happened, maybe a little younger. She gave me an Epsom salt bath, and I was like falling asleep, passing out in the tub. And she like thought I was gonna die. And I'm like, Mom, I probably just had so much adrenaline running through my system, and then it just left.
Yeah, that is
and you're
exhausting.
Just tired. Like it is straight up trauma to your body. It hurts. You know what, listeners out in Radioland and Sam, if you have the opportunity to fall off a horse, I say don't.
So I also have stable experience.
I know you have. I've heard of it. I've alleged heard of it.
So I was never like, I was not like your kind of horse girl. I volunteered to help care for a bunch of animals that, they were all at this farm where my aunt kept her horse, but the farm was primarily used for rescuing a bunch of farm animals.
Aww.
So a lot of the horses there were being saved after their owners died, and people didn't realize it. So, like they were kind of on the brink of starvation.
Oh, wow.
There was a bunch of donkeys at one point. And when I say a bunch, I don't mean like 5, I don't mean like 10, I mean like 40 fucking donkeys.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was a lot. And all different kinds of animals at this farm. So I never really learned how to do like the horse riding proper. I learned how to saddle and ride a horse, but primarily I was there for volunteer credit and for cleaning out the stables and for cleaning the horses and for feeding the donkeys. If anything, I wasn't a horse girl. I was a donkey NB.
You were an ass girl.
I was an ass girl. I still am. But
I learned how to ride a horse, and you learned how to ride that ass.
Well, there was one time I was there, and I'm trying to depict this like as perfectly as possible. So like my aunt and my cousins and the lady who primarily takes care of all the animals there, like they were all doing their own tasks, and I was out like towards like the communal feeding area. And out from one of the barn doors runs one of the roosters. The rooster was being followed by a goat. The goat was being followed by a pig, and I mean a full-size pig. The pig was being followed by a donkey, like a hog. The hog was being followed by a donkey, and the donkey was being followed by the horse, and they were all running in my direction. So I am screaming bloody murder. Like, I'm sure somewhere out there Benny Hill was like laughing and rolling in his grave. So I end up like climbing on top of this manhole kind of thing, like some sort of like well or like pit, just so that I didn't get run over by everything else. And everybody comes over by the time this is all done. They're like, what are you doing and why are they out? I'm like, I had nothing to do with this.
The cock planned it all.
Okay, if you knew, all 3 of the roosters came in at the same time. Their names were Larry, Moe, and Curly. And there was a reason they were all named that.
I don't trust chickens. And that extends to chickens. Roosters. I don't like them. I don't like being around them.
We've had this conversation, you and me, Amanda, about how, like, we both really like eating the vegetarian options when available. And there's a whole bunch of animals that I do genuinely feel sorry for eating because, like, they're kind. And by animals, I mean cows. Cows are really
lovely.
They're the only animal that I feel bad for eating. I don't feel bad for eating chickens at all.
I don't really eat pork all that often. Bacon is about the extent of my pork consumption.
I don't mind pork, but I have mixed feelings about pigs. They're pretty nice creatures, but I mean they can be a real pain in the ass.
I'm just half Jewish, and I watched Charlotte's Web a lot when I was a kid, so
My one great cousin, my mom's cousin, she had one of her heart valves replaced when she was about 3 or 4 years old with a pig valve. And they said that she wouldn't live past the age 5. She lived to be past her 60s.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, pigs are cute. And they're meaningful.
That's a good pig. That'll do, pig.
That's some pig.
Oh, wow. Look at. Did you ever watch the animated Charlotte's Web?
I did, and I love it.
Oh my God! I
want to be Charlotte so bad.
What do you see? The greatest hog in history. Fine swine, wish he was mine. What if he's not so big? He's some terrific, radiant, humble thingamajig of a pig. I swear to God. Listen, I have not seen that movie in 20 years.
And I don't think these people have heard our names in a solid 10 minutes. I'm Sam Logsden.
I am Amanda Pierce. I have forgotten everything I ever learned in a math class from high school. But fucking Charlotte's Web from when I was 8 years old, I know the pig song. But did you ever get kicked by a horse? That's unpleasant.
Well, the person who primarily takes care of all of those horses out at the farm, she's been kicked several times to the point where she permanently walks with bow legs.
Hachi machi. Yep. I've been kicked, but
I've been stepped on. I've been stepped on a lot.
It's very unpleasant. I
haven't broke anything. Oh, everyone I think has been bit at least once.
I've gotten kicked, but not what I would say with conviction.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very hesitant kind of a hard tap to my leg, and it was not great. I told you about the narcoleptic horse I used to ride, right?
Yes, you did.
Listen, not much happens in this episode, and we've had this conversation about what this episode is going to be about. So,
well, yeah, but I am actually going to stop you real quick and say that this is the episode where we find out why the queen hates Snow White so much.
What's her damage?
And you know what? It ain't shit.
No, not really. The kid's an idiot.
Yeah.
Snow White's an idiot, not Parrilla.
Snow White's kids are susceptible to emotional manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't hold that against them. And Lana Parrilla has a really good line delivery that is absolutely wasted because of this backstory.
And I really don't like, this is going to make me sound like a bad person, but I don't like the child actress who plays baby Snow White.
You know why? Because she's an absolute dead ringer for what Ginnifer Goodwin would have been like as a kid.
Yeah, apparently.
And her acting bothers you, and it kind of bothers me.
Apparently she studied Jennifer and her acting style. The young actress, Bailey is her name. I don't remember her last name.
Of course her name is Bailey.
But she over enunciates.
Bailey or Kaylee.
I will be happy to see you marry Daniel. Jeez. And she was in Bridge to Terabithia. She was the little shit sister in that.
Oh, fuck that movie.
So, there are child actors I don't mind, but she's not one of them.
It's a sad day when you make Henry look decent. Henry as a character is pretty awful, but the actor himself has no problem delivering lines.
I'm sure he's fine, and if he ever gets another job, I'll be happy if he gets work. But
Patreon people, let us know.
If he got work?
Well, if he got work and if you want us to
hire him.
Well, no. I'm not paying him $5 for a cameo. No, I think it'd be kind of cool for us to have a Once Upon a Time related story that we review over at Dreadful Pennies. So and I'll get into it in a bit, but something that Lana Parrilla was in, or something Ginnifer Goodwin was in, or something that Henry was in. I don't even care what the actor's real name is.
Oh, holy shit. Jared Gilmore. I just looked him up to see if he was in anything. Dude, he was Don Draper's son in Mad Men.
I'm not surprised.
And he was also in Wilfred. We'll watch Wilfred. I like that show. It's fine.
Bits and pieces of it. Oh my god. And that stars another damaged childhood actor.
Who?
Elijah Wood.
Oh!
The cycle continues.
I mean, at least Elijah Wood was cute. Henry's weird looking. Hi, Xenu.
Yeah. Xenu's a little weird looking too, but you know what? I love him.
You are a little weird looking.
It's sort of weird. Amanda and I have two cats that could be brothers. Sort of.
Except for Xenu has a moon face.
And Puck has a goblet face.
He has cheekbones.
For days.
He definitely has like more of a triangle-shaped head, and Xenu straight up has a round head.
And Puck does have a brother.
Mm-hmm.
Puck and Tibble, they're very good cats.
Hey,
But they both look like goblin children.
Xenu, we learned today that Xenu may take after me more than previously thought, because he was actively tackling and wrestling with Ramirez. Like, he was the active participant, which doesn't usually happen. And he kept on bugging Ramirez until Dennis fed him. So I was like, oh, Xenu got hangry. Maybe he is my son.
Oh my god.
I get hangry. I get not even hangry. I get hang bitchy.
I don't really get hangry, but I get like emotionally pouty until I get food. It's like
feed me.
It's like, what's wrong? You wouldn't understand.
Hey, big guy.
Did somebody say something mean to you? No. Is work okay? Work's fine. Do you want crab rangoon? Yes, I would love crab rangoon.
Yes, please. Thank you.
I'm a slut for crab rangoon.
Oh my God, it's so good.
So folks, this episode, I'm not going to say it's bad, but it's disappointing.
It's fine.
It serves a purpose, but do I care? No. So, Amanda has a couple of points about the episode. So instead of actually going into plot detail about everything, do you want me to paraphrase what happens in a very, short, sweet, and to the point kind of thing before you go into your things?
Go for it.
All right. So, in Storybrooke, Snow White, Mary Margaret is still in prison. She has her arraignment. I can't remember what his name is in Storybrooke, but the actor who plays King George is acting as a district attorney for Storybrooke. He questions her, and he basically interrogates her to the point where she is kind of tricked into saying that Catherine made her mad and she's happy she's gone, which looks very unfavorable upon her.
Which would not hold up in court.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't, because there's things like evidence. Emma and August go to the scene of the crime. I'm putting this in quotation marks, i.e. where they found the jewelry box with the heart in it. They find a metal shard that would belong to a shovel. They break into Regina's garage and find that she has a perfect match on a broken shovel for that shard. Emma gets a search warrant to look for the garage, and lo and behold, that shovel is gone, a new one is there, so she has no incriminating evidence. Regina goes up to Mary Margaret, not once, but twice, to taunt her in the prison cell about being imprisoned. And, Mary Margaret, in a bit of semi-decent acting, but kind of grating, is like, what did I ever do to you? And the second time she visits her, Mary Margaret's breaking down and is saying, I am so sorry for whatever it is I did to you, but I didn't kill Catherine. And Regina, in the coolest way possible, is just like, I know.
But you're not innocent.
But you're not innocent. And it's great. It's Lana Parrilla at her best. But unfortunately, we got a backstory. And the backstory is as follows. Snow White's father is going through where Regina lives. Now, this is before Regina has powers. Regina's mother, Cora, has powers and is constantly getting on her case about, basically not being ladylike.
And, physically and mentally abusing her.
Absolutely. She is an absolute bitch, but you know what? I kind of love that actress.
And I kind of love her outfits in this. That's one of my notes is there's no really good Regina outfits in this, but I want Cora's outfits, especially that cape.
Yes. So Regina at this point in her life, she's well-to-do. They're definitely in Duke levels of richness. She's not like how James was when we first met him.
Mm-hmm. She's wearing blue, so she's good.
Yes. So we also figure out that she is kind of having an affair with the stable boy until one day when Snow White is riding through with her father, her horse goes crazy. And Regina, for being an excellent horse girl like Amanda, is able to save her life.
She went over like a 1.5-foot jump. That's impossible.
It's TV, folks. Snow White's father is forever indebted for Regina saving his daughter and is like, I'm basically going to make you queen of the land. Now, this is a conundrum because, first and foremost, Cora is way more excited about this than Regina is. And Regina basically decides to
elope,
run away with her stable boy, Bowie David-looking boyfriend. But Snow White finds them kissing and is super upset that she is going to be losing yet another mother. And Regina's like, well, true love's magical and there's nothing else like it, so you gotta let me run away with this guy. I'm really sorry about your dad. Don't tell my mom. And then Cora essentially is like cornering Snow White, saying, well, something's wrong with my daughter and I don't want to lose her. And again, being a child, Snow White, by the way, is probably like, what would you say? Like what age?
10?
10? Yeah.
Yeah, I can settle on 10.
Yeah. Or something to that effect. She definitely plays to definitely younger than 12.
And she definitely has one of those faces where she could play younger because it's very round and kind of, I don't want to body shame a child, but it's kind of chubby.
Yeah, chubby cheeks. Baby fat.
She definitely has like a baby face.
Baby face. That's all good. Like, Cora's like, I really don't want to lose my daughter. And Snow White, already having a dead mom and knowing what it's like, is like, well, here's the thing. She doesn't love my dad. And she kind of likes this stable boy. And Cora's like, well, thank you so much for telling me. And then she kills the stable boy. And because of all of this...
rips his heart out.
Rips his heart out, like how Regina has before. And Snow basically tells Regina that, she told Cora about all this because I don't want you to know what it's like to lose your mother like I did.
Mm-hmm.
With
a lot of really fake hysterical crying.
Yeah,
but
that's it. And I already know what a lot of you are thinking. Well, geez, Snow didn't kill that guy. Cora did. Why isn't Regina mad at her mother?
Oh, and the other thing they say right at the end is it's heavily implied, if not revealed, that Cora is the one who drove the horse crazy originally. So Snow could save her.
Yes. I think they straight up say, like, Regina basically figures out that she manipulated.
She accuses her of it, and she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And she's like, I should have let her die on the horse.
Yeah. So that's it, folks. That's what we've been building up to.
Yay.
For this time, because we only got like
total bitch.
How many episodes left? Like 4? 3 or 4 until the season's over?
We were halfway, I think, at 12.
Yes. No, 11. It's 22 episodes.
Okay.
So,
we're 4.
4 left. Okay. So yeah, that's what this great rivalry has been about all the time.
There was another really good acting scene I wanted to point out really quick too, since we're kind of in that part of the episode, is when Snow reveals that she's the one who told Cora about Daniel, the David Bowie.
Yeah.
Lana Parrilla looks away and her face changes and her face stays changed after that. And you're like, oh, that's good acting. Like, you see the evil queen being born right there. She's like, oh, shit. Like, she's gonna fuck up this kid's life. And I don't know. My gut reaction to this episode is that it's kind of dumb that she's mad at Snow White, because Snow White's a literal child who was manipulated by Lana Parilla's mother, who did basically set her up for this.
Yeah, so kind of piggybacking off of that, Lana Parrilla's acting in this throughout the entire episode is great. Mm-hmm. She is an excellent actress, and she works with the scripts that she has. And my problem isn't with how she portrays this character. My problem is how this character is written.
Yeah.
So up until this point, Regina's been very, like, cold and calculating. And yeah, we're seeing her, like, at a point in her life where she was very, like, young and naive. But not that naive, you know? Like, she was able to kind of lie to her mother enough for such a long time. And, like, already has, like, really hard feelings about the woman in the first place, and that's all she repeats over and over and over again. So for her to really lash out at a child the way that she does, like that we see in episodes before this and what we're going to see after this, like, that makes no sense.
And a child that was manipulated by her own abuser.
Yeah, and you can talk about, like, projecting, and you can talk about, I can't remember what the term's called. Displacement, yeah, like a displacement of anger towards your abuser.
Don't know anything about that.
Yeah, let me take a sip.
Hopefully Ginger will kick the last of the sickness out of my body.
You and me both. Yeah, I mean, we could talk about that.
Nah, let's save it for Dreadful Pennies.
That is definitely a Dreadful Pennies discussion.
It was literally my suggestion for a Dreadful Pennies episode was talk about our damage, both emotional and physical.
Oh, that might be a two-parter.
Emotional is part 1, physical is part 2.
Yes, the physical is part 2. So if you can't laugh about your abuse, what can you laugh about?
Other people's, apparently.
Ah, man, I'm really glad we're not making careers out of that.
No.
So, maybe 2 apples, 3 with a bite.
I'd say 2.5. There's nothing wrong with this episode, but it's not good. It's not great.
I was disappointed because, like, there's part of me that wants to play script doctor with this, where I think it'd be more interesting if Snow White was a teenager.
Yeah, and had a little bit more agency in it.
Yeah, let's assume that Cora still did what she did, and she's still the focal point of Regina's anger. But, like, Snow White was also, like, I have a lot of damage from losing my mother, and I'm about to lose another one. I'm going to straight up tell Cora what happened.
And it would probably be less excusable in Lana Parrilla's eyes that Snow White would spill the beans, because, like, a kid not being able to keep a secret. I don't know how many of you out there know or have children, but they're generally speaking not great liars.
No, they're pretty awful.
Keeping a secret. I mean, I was a good liar, but
even the kids that are good liars, like, strangers can point it out. You get good at lying to your parents because you're around them 24/7.
Yeah.
You know, when you meet somebody for the first time, or if it's only been like a month or so, no, they see right through you.
Yeah, no. Especially when you're a professional manipulator like Lana Perilla's mom. Well, Regina's mom. I'm sorry, Lana Parrilla. I'm sure your mother is a lovely person.
Yeah, Lana Parrilla, we're really sorry. Don't fire us again.
Oh, I got some Once Upon a Time news too, but it's for the end of the episode. But they're doing something pretty cool, and that's a teaser. That's what we call a teaser in the biz. I'll tell you all at the end. Just remind me to say something.
So, yeah, we could dwell on the episode more, but I'm not going to.
Nah, it's about 2.5.
Yeah, bite 3 with a bite. Like not even like a huge bite, like a decent sized bite. Like if these were pink lady apples, I'd give it a bigger bite, but these are like red delicious.
Yeah.
So it's like a bite.
It's like there's nothing offensive about the episode or bad, and the acting's decent. The script is not terrible.
I think
the kid is bad, but who cares?
Watching it a second time around, I'm less upset by it because like I kind of know what's par for the course in Once Upon a Time now.
Mm-hmm.
But like the first time watching this, I remember being like,
"That's
what
it.
What the hell?
That's your damage, Regina.
You are wasting Lana Parrilla's acting for this."
Yeah, that's your damage, Regina. Really? That's it? That's all we're doing with this. He gets one episode.
So, there's a movie that I want to watch, and for valid reasons, Amanda doesn't want to watch it with me, and my partner doesn't want to watch it with me, and I would never force it upon either one of them.
No. Nope.
But in the year 2000, Lana Parrilla was in a movie called Spiders, and it was about, guess what, spiders.
Nope.
I've seen clips of it on YouTube, and it looks thoroughly enjoyable. So what I might do at some point, and if it was available on Netflix or Hulu or something that I wouldn't need to pay an additional fee for, I would have watched it. But any platform that it's on requires additional payment. So I can't justify that right now, you know, times being what they are.
Mm-hmm.
But I would probably watch it and report back on my findings. But from the clips that I've seen on YouTube, it's like, did you ever watch Anaconda?
No.
Okay. I like that movie.
Nothing against snakes though.
Well, like if you know what kind of movie you're into, like what movie you're getting yourself into when you watch it, it's enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
And this movie kind of looks like that, especially being like 2000 on the nose. You know, 9/11 didn't happen quite yet. The 90s were still a fresh memory, but we were looking towards what, you know, horror was going to be at that time. So, you know, it's like a little time capsule movie.
Yeah, I mean, if you watch that, I will watch the episode or episodes of the TV show Vinyl, in which Daniel plays David Bowie.
That's fair. We can do that. Yeah, for anybody who doesn't know this, I'll put a link in the description to Dreadful Pennies, or at least our Patreon. On Patreon, you can be a participant in polls. So if that's something you want to see, like, I'll put that up there.
If you want to hear me talk about Vinyl, I'm sure I will. It's about a 70s executive in the music industry, I guess. But people are in it.
Yeah, and if you want to hear me talk about a pseudo monster movie from the year 2000 starring Lana Parrilla, I think that's good fodder.
I refuse to watch a movie with spiders in it.
And that's fine.
If there are spiders in the title, I refuse.
Well, spiders is just straight up the title.
I don't even watch, like, the Mystery Science Theater episodes with spiders. Like, Horror of Spider Island or whatever. Nah, I'm good.
It depends for me, because, like, in real life, spiders freak me out, but I have a very healthy respect for them.
I don't kill them.
Yeah, no, I can't. They kill far more deadly things for me to want to kill them.
Like mosquitoes.
Yeah. But like spider movies, it depends on the, like, eight-legged freaks, can't do it.
No, I can't. No.
The Mystery Science Theater movies I can do. But that's also in part because a lot of those effects, like, I think are really, well, they're cool for the time. Like, I'm trying to remember.
Oh, like the rear projection kind of one.
Not rear projection, like the perspective stuff.
Yeah.
Like, stuff like that's really cool, and like the puppetry that's involved with like giant arms and things. I like looking at stuff like that.
If you want to watch that one, just watch the one about the crickets.
That movie is that one's really boring. I got to tell you,
It is really boring.
Even with the guys talking now, because I can't remember the name of that episode, but
the worst one is Red Zone Cuba. That's so boring. The movie is so boring.
There's a couple of Finnish ones that I haven't been able to sit through all the way.
I like that. Oh my god.
I think there was one that was literally called like Jack Frost. Was it called Jack Frost?
I think that was Jack Frost. Yeah.
Yeah, that like
where the guy turns into a bear. It's wackety.
It's very wackety, but I remember like there's maybe a good 30-minute dredge in it where I'm like, the robots aren't helping.
Yeah. God damn it, Mike. You can only write so much into this episode.
So, it kind of, again, like making it tangential to the episode. There's a lot of people I've talked to that remember the show Spin City, but haven't actually watched it, with the exception of Danny. Danny is my partner, and he's about 15 years older than me. So, he would have had like a much fresher memory of when that show was around. And,
yeah, I vaguely have a memory of the name.
Yeah, because like people who did watch it, like adults that I interacted with when I was younger, really liked it. Like apparently it had like a really big cast in it, and Lana Parrilla was in a couple of episodes. So like that was kind of a shock to me to see, because looking at her IMDb, she's only in a handful of films.
Yeah. And
she's primarily in a lot of TV shows. Once Upon a Time is by far the most successful one that she's been in, or at least the one that she's been a major part in.
Yeah, I'm Lost. I see.
But she's only in 2 or 3 episodes.
I mean, she's Dennis not like a main character. Her from Lost, so that's kind of my meter for that.
So yeah, kind of in competition with that. Spin City, to my knowledge, only has like 1 season, I think. But it has a weird cult following.
I just looked at the IMDb for Spiders, and I saw pass.
I remember
hard to pass.
Oh, hey, do you want to hear how old I am?
How old are you?
I remember seeing the case for it at Blockbuster.
No, I probably just purposefully avoided it. Ooh, Connie Britton's in Spin City.
Yeah. But,
it looks like her second biggest thing is probably 24. She was in 12 episodes of it. That was like the biggest thing that she was in a lot of episodes of, or more than like 3.
Yeah, like she's good for a lot of bit parts, but the ones that she's like a prominent role for, there's not too many.
Lana Parrilla, you deserve better.
You do. Like, if we ever become major producers, like, I'll hire you.
Yeah, hell yeah. She can be my evil stepmother.
She can step on.
She is real good, though. Like, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. How... What is her biological age? 77. She was born in 77.
That would be like 42.
That's kind of that weird time for poor actresses.
Well, I mean, if Lana Parrilla, I'm not saying that you're desperate enough to reach out to us. But, like, we would love to talk to you. We would love to talk about your experience on Once Upon a Time. We would like to know. I want to know what it was like being on the set of Spiders personally.
No.
But, Amanda can close her ears for that.
You can talk about the set. I don't want to hear a word about Spiders out of your lovely mouth.
Yeah.
Could we video chat with her? Because I want to see her eyebrows.
I would too. And the dogs.
But yeah, she's like 43, 42, 43 right now.
Mhm.
So I could see why Hollywood, being the horrible sexist place it is not chomping at the bit. Oh, God, I hate people. Lana Parrilla, you deserve a female-led project.
You know what? Yeah, screw it. One of these days, you and I are just going to bite the bullet and, like, make Dreadful Pennies Productions be a production company. Yeah. And just have it be all about, like, femmes and queers and stuff that, like, cis men don't care about.
Except for Robert Carlyle.
I said cis men. I should have said cis straight men.
Okay. So we can have Robert Carlyle?
Of course.
Sweet.
Well,
he wears enough leather
in
this show. Oh, I was about to say.
Mm-hmm.
He should be an honorary member because of the levels of camp he delivers.
I was going to say, if he's not at least bi-curious, I'm going to be surprised.
I was reading something at the beginning of this episode. Robert Carlyle shows up at Regina's house, and he throws an apple at her. And Robert Carlyle is another person I'd like to sit down and talk to, but he probably wouldn't ever acknowledge we exist.
Here's the thing. If we ever talk to Robert Carlyle, the last thing we would ever talk about is Once Upon a Time.
It'd be 20 minutes
it would all be about Ravenous.
It'd be 30 minutes of Ravenous, 30 minutes of Train Spotting, 30 minutes of Train Spotting 2, and then like, oh yeah, by the way, Once Upon a Time, how was that? Fine, good, okay.
Hey, Robert Carlyle, there's a GIF of you on the internet, and that GIF is the exact point when I stopped caring about Once Upon a Time, because I knew you were hating it.
But
we will get there. You will get there with me, and then you will understand. Fine.
I don't want to watch ahead anymore. I'm staying with the audience. I want to live in the moment.
That's what I meant. Like, you will get there when we get there. When we talk about it, you will understand why. Because you get to see it in the poor man's face.
I'm like a kid in the backseat of the car. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? You'll get there when we get there. But Robert Carlyle seems like such a sweetheart in like actual life, even though he plays assholes all the time, or crazy people, or both in the case of Train Spotting.
Yeah.
He was worried
to some capacity.
He was worried about throwing an apple at Lana Parrilla, and she's like, her father is a professional baseball player, and she's like, don't worry, I can catch it. It'll be fine. He was like worried about hurting her, and she's like, no, I'm a strong, independent woman, and my father taught me how to catch a baseball, so it'll be fine. You won't break my nose.
Did I tell you what happened at my cousin's wedding?
No.
So my two cousins, both of them are girls, they both got scholarships for softball.
Mm-hmm.
Their father, my Uncle Frank, he is a huge baseball fan. Huge. Mm-hmm. So, like, the fact that they got into the softball life, which if you've ever met anybody in the softball life, you don't really leave that all that easily. Mm-hmm. So that's just something that all three of them kind of bonded over. So at my cousin's wedding, she has, like, the father-daughter dance. And then all of a sudden, like midway through the song, it cuts out. Center field plays. They bring out gloves into softball, and they just start throwing it at each other in the middle of the song. And honestly, it's like, I think the groom side was super confused by it. Because I don't know if they had met her before or not, or my uncle. But I was like, oh dear. This is the whitest thing I think I've ever seen, but it's so damn cute.
Aww.
So Robert Carlyle could throw apples at my cousins too, and like, you know, I'd be more worried about him.
I'm sure he would. He's a gentleman, and he would ask for consent before throwing fruit in anyone's face.
Of course.
He seems so lovely.
Daddy Carlisle, you can throw apples at me anytime.
And if you come on our show, we promise we won't call you Daddy. I'll just think it loudly.
I make no promises unless you explicitly tell me not to.
So a couple other things I wanted to say about this episode.
Of course. Her
blue dress that her mother puts her in to meet the king really reminded me of the dress I wore to your wedding.
Yeah. I wasn't going to say it was Cinderella-ish, but it was totally Cinderella-ish.
It's straight up from the Cinderella line from Torrid. Like,
yes.
If you look at it, it has little carriages and shoes and stuff on it.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I love that dress.
I regret my marriage wholeheartedly, but I don't regret. I regret my marriage wholeheartedly when I was married, but I don't regret my wedding.
There are several things surrounding your wedding that I wouldn't say I regret, but were probably mistakes and caused me more trouble in the long term than they should have. But
especially my marriage.
Nah, your marriage is probably the less of the two evils.
That's debatable, but we'll say they're tied.
Someone forgets the start of my relationship to Dennis.
I remember it. I'm just saying that if it wasn't for my connection, your decision would never have been made.
That's true. But my decision led to me crying at a Hard Rock Cafe.
Oh, shit. So we are tied.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I cried in a Hard Rock Cafe and got free drink tickets for it.
About a month later, me and Amanda went to Denny's. I was super upset, and all I wanted was a cup of coffee. And I waited a really long time for my coffee because it was at Denny's.
Was it a coffee or was it a milkshake?
No, it was a coffee.
It was a coffee.
It was a coffee. And the minute the coffee got to the table, I saw that the steam was off it, so I wanted for it to cool down. And a fly just straight up kamikazed itself into my coffee. And died in it.
You just started laughing, and I started laughing, and she was like...
I laughed until I cried.
You were like, this is my life right now. This is my life.
This is my life.
A fly drowning in a cup of coffee. A drowned fly in a cup of coffee.
Amanda had to order me another one because I was incapable of speaking.
Yeah, and the poor guy apologized. He was totally high, but, he was like, I'm sorry.
He thought he did something wrong.
And we're like, no, honey, there was a fly in it. Like, the flies happen.
Like, okay, like, flies happen, but they don't always, commit seppuku mid-flight, and mine did.
Yeah. It's a metaphor for life. Flies happen. Yeah. Every now and then you get a fly in your coffee. Mm-hmm. And,
and sometimes it dies.
You just gotta take the flies with the dark roast.
Yes. I think I actually ran out of dark roast and gave me a light.
I think he did, now that I think about it.
It's true.
Because I think you put one thing of creamer in, and it turned white, like it usually does at Denny's, but,
Yep. Oh, my gosh.
That was a big stretch for a tiny kitten. Do you have anything to say about Lana Parrilla or Robert Carlyle, Zeno? No, you're just going to go back to sleep.
Oh, I thought you'd at least mew.
No, I just wanted to have any input, if he had any input. The other thing is Dennis pointed out that August should have been played by Billy Eichner. From Billy on the Street? Are you still there?
Hold on. No, I'm trying to remember who that is. How do you spell his last name?
Eichner. Billy on the Street.
Let's see.
He has the actor name, has a very
the
Billy
name sounds super familiar.
Face. He was an American.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
He's like, August would be a lot funnier if he was played by Billy Eichner.
Oh my god! Yes, he would be.
And I was like, Regina. He has a game where he'll run up to people in the street in New York City and ask them questions. And one game is called For $1. And
I know exactly who this is.
Yeah. So
I know exactly
Regina,
who he is.
For $1, do you think Robert Carlyle was robbed by the Academy for his performance in Ravenous?
Oh my god. That would be amazing. Holy
crap. This is the episode where Dennis found out who August was. Because
he was able to tell?
Yeah, he did. Dude, He at one point
don't say
yeah,
it. Don't say it, because he does kind of give it away.
Yeah, he says something about his anatomy, and you're like, dude, come on. And then he says something later, and you're like, okay, I get it.
Yeah, it's not subtle. I think I told this to Amanda, like the first time I ever watched it, I was super mad that that's who he was.
Nah.
Watching it a second time, it's like, again, it is what it is.
Oh my god, on Lana Perilla's Instagram, she has hashtag in her bio, hashtag Lana Parrilla, hashtag keep it regal.
Oh my god, that is amazing. I love you,
She's my
Lana.
hero.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else you wanted to add for this kind of bleh episode?
So basically, her acting was awesome, but her character is very poorly written, is sort of my whole thing with it. And looking at her IMDb was significantly more interesting than anything I could have said about this episode.
Ramirez is cleaning his butthole.
That is also more interesting.
That's his comment.
Once again, you have anything else to
not
say?
on Lana Parrilla. Just the kind of blech backstory they decided to land on for her. I have one thing to say.
Yes.
Sam, do you have a couple $100 you don't need anywhere else?
I wish.
Here's the thing. For $10, you can donate to the Children's Hospital of Orange County for a chance to join a Once Upon a Time virtual reunion with Lana Parrilla, Emil DeRavin, Diana Ramirez, Sean McGuire, Rebecca Madler, Raphael Sabar, who cares, and Jared Gilmore, who's Henry. But Lana Parrilla, virtual reunion.
Damn.
$10 gets you 100 entries. $50 gets you 600 entries. $25 gets you 250 entries, and it's pretty much at a zero to however much you donate, and that's how many entries you get.
Well,
God,
folks,
I feel like it'd be so good for marketing for us to win that, though. Like,
I
if
know.
you have a couple $100 or $1,000 that we could get an entry in.
I wish, but unfortunately, I've just kind of been living audiobook to audiobook, and they are harder to come by.
Can we just, like, you should just DM Lana Parrilla from our official Instagram and try to grease her up a little bit.
I'll try my hardest.
It would be pretty great. Also, she has some activism stuff. Also, she's just a lovely person. She looks very pretty.
Yeah.
But if you want to donate to Children's Hospital of Orange County, if you find Lana Parrilla on Instagram, there's a link in her bio. Do that, because it's a good thing.
Yeah.
You know?
And if you get that opportunity, like, I don't know, tag us.
Can we be your +2?
Yeah. I mean, between me and Amanda are two halves of one idiot. So really,
Yeah.
we're your +1.
We're the two boobs on one chest, the two balls
Yes.
in one sack.
Yes. I'm the perkier one, but Amanda is the bigger one.
Oh, yeah. And the juicier one.
Mm-hmm.
I got a lot of juice.
I'm probably the pierced one. Maybe.
You're probably the pierced one. I'm the one with a tattoo.
I have a canary.
You don't watch...
I was going to say I have a canary.
You don't watch 90 Day Fiancé, do you?
I don't.
First of all, you're missing out. Second of all, there's a guy named Jeffrey on there who has the worst nipple tattoos I've ever seen in my life.
That's a sentence you just said.
It's the worst nipple. Dude, I'm going to send you the picture, and it's like, I saw it and I'm like, what is growing on his chest? It is the worst nipple tattoos.
Oh my
Hold
God.
on. We'll do this now. I don't care. Can you get on your Facebook?
Yeah.
On your Messenger?
Yeah.
Look at this dude's nipple tattoos. And also he's been accused of sexually assaulting his wife and abusing his ex-wife and abusing her, and has been to jail for drug dealing. But yeah.
In the hell?
Yeah.
What are those?
Worst nipple tattoos.
What are those?
Ever. I don't know.
Are they supposed to be starfish?
They're like, I think there was supposed to be tribal tattoos. He had like a story behind it, but I also don't want to give him the hits on Google anymore because he's an asshole.
What tribe? The Lollipop Guild?
I don't know. Jeffrey explains his nipple tattoos. Hold on.
No, I don't even care. Don't give him the platform. It's like
all
two
about the protective order against him, all about putting his girlfriend in the hospital.
You know how mermaids are supposed to have the starfish bikinis? It's like the starfish said, you know what? We don't want our mouths around that areola. We are fine hanging out on the side.
The nipples are, someone commented, what is it even? Was it blood coming from his nipples? Flames? Discharge? I need to know. They look like they're about to pinch his nipples so bad.
I have nothing.
He picked it from a sheet.
I
guess he was drunk or something and picked it from it. Guys, seriously, don't Google it if you can like put on incognito so he doesn't get the hits because he's an asshole.
Yeah, I was gonna say never give abusers traffic.
Jeffrey with a G, Goefrey from 90 Day Fiancé. Yeah, he's a Joffrey. Like they're all assholes. Are you snoring?
Little Z.
I'm sorry. I know you have to cut when I get distracted by my cat, but he's straight up snoring right next to me. He snored himself awake the other day.
I could do the ultra risky thing and just not edit this episode at all.
You could just not do that. Dude,
hey guys, I'm going to not do that. Let us know in the comments how much that pisses you off.
Xenu snored himself awake the other day. It was the sweetest thing I've ever seen. He snored so hard, he woke himself up. He was like, ah! And then he took a nap with me nose to nose.
Puck fell asleep in my butt cheeks. Like, just nuzzled right up on and just like head in between the cheeks.
But yeah, I've been watching 90 Day Fiancé way too much.
Should I watch it?
Yes.
Why?
Because it's like relationship porn with like a little bit of ugly American tendencies in it. So the premise of it, you know the premise of it. I think I've told you the premise of it. Yeah,
I know the premise of it. I'm just trying to figure out if I should watch it.
The relationship dynamics can be interesting. Is the one thing I'll say. And if you watch this season of Before the 90 Days, there's like 20 spinoffs. Before the 90 Days are people who are meeting other people from a different country for the first time in the other country. So like one girl, two women in it go to Australia. One guy is really sad and is being essentially exploited by a woman in Russia. It's really interesting, but there's a queer couple this season. There's a lesbian couple.
That sounds cool, but I also remember seeing I can't remember the name of the show on Netflix, but it was essentially about mail order brides.
Love it. Married at First Sight.
That might have been it, but it was like it was one documentary. It wasn't a
Married
season
by my
or
parents.
Something like that.
Love is Blind. Which
no, it wasn't. That's a series.
No, I know.
Which I kind of refuse to watch. I
feel like the SNL. I started to watch it. It's bad.
SNL did a parody of it about how they would do Love is Blind, the quarantine edition, and then they did a quarantine edition.
Here's the thing with like 90 Day Fiancé. Let's compare and contrast to Love is Blind though. Because I think it's there are interesting things because probably more people have seen Love is Blind. Because there's not a pay threshold. It's on Hulu a lot of the seasons. But all of the people in Love is Blind are hetero, cis, and conventionally attractive. There is not a fat person or an uggo in the bunch. There's no one significantly older or younger. So what you get in 90 Day Fiancé is there's David and Annie. I think it's David. Is like one of my favorite couples. He's significantly older than her, and she's from the Philippines or from Thailand. And you start watching the season thinking, oh, she probably just wants to come to America. What could she see in this old guy he's totally broke. He doesn't have a home in America. He essentially moved to Thailand after he had a stroke and had a divorce. But you see their relationship grow. And like now they're in What Now, which is like after they get married, a show showing like their lives as they go on. And they are like an adorable little couple, and she's so silly, and she just loves him. So
Aww.
For every like for every Darcy and Jesse, you get a David and Annie.
Aww.
And it's nice. Some of them are really nice, and it's nice to see the train wrecks are funny and interesting and upsetting. But the good relationships are sweet, and you see people work through very real issues and cultural issues and still love each other through it and at the end of it. So there's good things to be said. It's not just straight up, it's not all Jerry Springer, though there is certainly exploitive elements to it. But some of it is just kind of sweet and nice. And also there is a podcast and show on YouTube called Psychology in Seattle. It's by a guy who's been a psychologist for like almost 30 years who talks about he reacts to different couples on 90 Day Fiancé, among other things. So he's a relationship counselor and professor. So it's really interesting to like see his takes on the relationships. Especially he talks about one of the Darcy and Jesse, the most historically messy relationship probably in the history of the show.
I'll have to watch it and get back to you. How about that?
It's free on Hulu. Some of the earlier seasons are free on Hulu. I would say don't watch season 1 of 90 Day Fiancé.
Watch season 2?
I don't know who's on season 2, but I think that's probably a safe bet because the only one from season 1 that really carries over is Russ and Paola. But who cares?
Well, folks, this is the episode you're getting. This wasn't the episode that we wanted when we watched Once Upon a Time, and this isn't the episode you wanted to listen to when you listened to us. So I feel like this was a very fair thing to do.
Oh my God, if you don't want us to talk about our mental and physical damage, watch we can make Sam watch 90 Day Fiancé and then talk about it on Dreadful Pennies.
Yeah. The way that Dreadful Pennies is going to work is that we alternate between who gets to pick the subjects.
Mm-hmm.
So, towards the end of June, whatever Amanda wants to talk about is what we're going to want to talk about. So,
oh my God,
there you go.
Yeah, watch season 2 of 90 Day Fiancé. That's a good season.
Okay.
It has one of the worst and one of the best. So, yeah.
Well, I'll do that. And as, again, somebody who has a 15-year difference between their significant other, this should be a pretty interesting thing for me to watch.
Oh, God, it's so good. Do it. I'm so excited. Oh, God, I want to talk about 90 Day Fiancé with you now because Dennis won't talk to me about it. He pretends that he doesn't love it, but he loves it, even when he leaves the room.
So, yeah. Dreadful Pennies Productions on Patreon. I'm going to leave a link to that. So if you want to be a part of that particular poll, That's where I'm going to post it. Of just like various things that we can talk about.
Yeah.
And next episode, I actually don't remember what the next episode is.
Who cares? We'll talk about it.
We watch it so you don't have to.
No, we can't take that.
I know we can't. I only get to say it once. And since nobody cares about this episode, that's where I'm going to drop it, and it's never going to come up again.
That's our 2 cents. Wait, wrong shit.
No. Those 2 cunts will sue us.
Yeah, bitches.
So yeah. Anyway, I'm Sam Logston, and even though people are starting to open back up again, still wash your hands.
I'm Amanda Pierce, and Pennsylvania was in one of the top 24 states that still doesn't have corona under control. So don't go outside.
Or wear your damn mask.
Or just don't go outside. Just stay inside. Watch 90 Day Fiancé.
Listen
and
to our
all
podcasts.
Of the spinoffs.
We have 2 of them now.
There's
What's your
Pillow
excuse?
Talk, Before the 90 Days, What Now, Happily Ever After. Watch them all. A new season's starting soon.
And remember, it might not be the end.
It might not be 90 Day Fiancé.
But you are always welcome to this tragedy. Take care.